perhaps also it could be taken further as well, and I'm going to make some suggestions there for discussion. 3 points. The first is one of the great strengths of the paper, I feel, is that it stands within a traditional political economy which has actually analysed markets. Not just production, but has analysed markets. One could go back to, for example, the seminal work of Amartya Sen on famines, but there's been a whole lot of other work on markets more recently. I'm thinking particularly of people like Maureen McIntosh and Henry Bernstein. And what they do is draw a very clear distinction between abstract markets and real markets. And I think this is running through Trudi and Simon's paper in a very intelligent way. Abstract markets here refers to the formulation of markets, or the model of markets in neoclassical economics, which underpins the kind of policy prescriptions we have now. So an assumption of individuals confronting each other as atomised individuals out to maximise their utility and operating within more or less perfectly competitive markets. And if markets are found to deviate from being perfectly competitive, then there's something called market imperfection, and the job then of the state, insofar as it has a job in the markets, is to fix it. So that's really what's moved into the post-Washington consensus and what underpinned the policy thinking there. But at its core are those neoclassical assumptions about markets, abstract markets. In contrast to that are real markets. And real markets are ones where you can think of it in terms of a particular objective analysis. I'm quoting here, whose characteristics and dynamics are established theoretically as well as empirically through investigating the specific forms of social relations and institutions that constitute them and their differentiated agents at particular places and particular times. Now, thinking about and analysing markets in that way, as I think Trudi and Simon have done, opens up a whole number of new questions. It suggests, for a start, that markets actually are places and sources of power and of struggles with power between differentiated agents. It suggests that it's not a simple separation between economics and politics, but actually that markets have political, legal and institutional conditions of existence and functioning, and the agents within will struggle to reproduce or to change those conditions in ways that suits them. And it also, of course, raises the question of market regulation, that it's not just simply state intervention within markets, but actually major corporate powers and other actors within markets regulate them themselves within their own interests. So that's really the first main point that comes out of this paper. It's very insightful in that respect. The second is about black economic empowerment. Right at the end of the paper, there's a really, really interesting couple of sentences which I'd like to highlight because I think they're important for the issues that we'll be talking about not just now but today.